Okay, so welcome everybody to Tuesdays with Terah, sort of a special event today for a number of reasons. One is well, I'll better introduce myself, I guess. Robin Retallick, you're at the Law of Attraction Club. With me tonight is Mary Beth, who normally channels on Tuesday, and she will be channeling tonight. And also with us is Rachel, who normally channels on Thursday night, and she'll be channeling also. We also have Kathy, who does a lot of our background stuff, administration, and helps out with all sorts of things. And so she's here, and if she needs to jump in and say something, she's going to do that. So here we are on this hangout, and so welcome once again. We're doing this in live video because it's the year 2016, and we probably should. Everyone's going to video, and it's obvious why, because you get a real sense. I mean, people are more comfortable in seeing people and communicating with people, and so that's where we're headed with this. Tonight we're going to be sort of previewing a little bit of our 4-week challenge, as we've come to call it. And the 4-week challenge is going to start on November the 1st. And it's going to run through to November the 29th. Those are Tuesdays. And so we're sort of in the lead-up process. We were thinking we would start a little earlier than that, but Mary Beth's got herself with a gig for a while, looking after some grandkids and dogs and whatever. And so we thought we would take it easy for a bit. So on Saturday, we reviewed the, oh, by the way, for those of you on the Hangout, there's a Q&A box, group chat on the right. If you need to get to that, I'm not sure on your screen how you do it, but it should be obvious. And if you have a question, you can put it in the group chat and we will get to it. We're expecting that there will be perhaps some others on the live call here. We were thinking Giora might be. I think he committed to being here, so we'll see what happens. This is a bit of an experiment. Obviously, we're just starting out with this, and we've got all of our lighting in different sorts of ways and means, and we'll probably get that a bit cleaned up as we go along. But so for the present, the 4-week challenge, let me just go into a bit of detail on that. The 3 things. So the point is, will you join us? We're going, if yes, we're going to ask you to do 3 things. Pick one thing you want to change, not something too way out, something that you can probably get your arms around as something that you'd really like to change and haven't yet changed, but not something like turning the world upside down. That's just a suggestion. Up to you, whatever you want to pick, and then tell us about it. You don't have to tell us you tell us as much detail as you want to, or not as much detail as you want to. It's just so it's real to you. Step 2, then we want you to commit to a daily process through these 28, 29 days here that's going to allow you to get a real feel into conscious creation and to get a real leap up on it, if you will. And I would say that what we're doing here in this community is really something unique in this sort of channeled law of attraction stuff, from what I can see. Is not only do we answer your questions and try and get to the fundamentals of who you are and really how all this stuff works in a way that is really very complete, but we also engage with you. So we ask you to tell us what you want to do, and then we'll get into the process of what's working, what's not working, and how can we help, how can we assist you. And I don't know any other group or whatevers that do quite the same thing in terms of that engagement. And this 4-week challenge is just another one of those things that we do. We're going to be inviting some new people to come along for the 4 weeks as well. So step 3 then, if I didn't mention it, as we go through the month, then of course we have our normal 3 calls a week. And we strongly recommend that you come to as many of those as you can and give us and check in with us and tell us what's working once again and what's not. And use the resources here. You'll have at least one of us channeling on those calls, if not more. And it'll give you a chance to hear what our reaction is, what Terah's reaction is, and so on. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. All right. So I think without any further ado, I'm going to pass over to Rachel first. And Rachel is going to look at those truths, 10 truths that we talked about on Saturday, and where we go from there. Only she and Terah know at this point, and probably only Terah at this point. So we'll see what happens there. And then Mary Beth's going to talk a little bit about the processes. And the reason we're going back over these things, the truths and the processes, is we want you to start to build these into your daily routine and use this 4-week thing as a way of really getting that down, really getting into the coming to grips with that. This is the nuts and bolts of being a conscious creator. So, all right. So let's have some fun. I'm going to pass over to Rachel, and I'll white box her, as they say, and hang out on air, and you'll get to see Rachel. Thank you.
Indeed, and welcome to this first of many fun events together. We've had a lot of fun to this point, of course, but we love that you get to see our group here in action. And we are anticipating that this will further this connection that we are all feeling with one another. It is nice to see a person, isn't it? It is nice to see the face with the voice. So we are just looking so forward to a lot of fun together as we further expand into things to remember, things to do with this exciting new chapter here. We want to take a little bit of time to do sort of a overview of the 10 truths that we talked about on Saturday. And then we want to pick out a few and talk about them in a little bit more detail as we are so moved, and this one so moves with us, you see. And we want to remind you that these calls are your calls. You are creating this call. You are creating this in your world. And we encourage you, as this one introduces and Mary Beth introduces, that if anything comes up for you that you want further clarification about, or to go through a process specific to something that you are wanting to see your way through, we encourage you to let us know, to put up your hand, to put your question in the chat box, to reach out to us, because we are so wanting to assist you in really getting all of this so down deep that, as Robin said, it becomes automatic, that you start these practices, you make them your own, you tweak them to what works for you. You take something like the letting go process, and maybe you don't do all 5 steps, maybe you do 2 of them, but that's enough. And you take these processes and you make them your own. You create something that works well for you, because you're all unique individuals and not one process is going to work exactly the same for everybody. You see, that's why we offer so many, and that's why we encourage you that these are jumping off places for you to further dive into what your heart desires, you see. And throughout the 4 weeks, when we get to that challenge, if you find something that really works for you, or that jumped out for you, or that just was an aha moment for you, we are so encouraging that kind of participation, because as our channels share personal information or allow us to work with them to share personal stories from their background, so as you share stories, that helps all who are on the call, all who are listening, watching later, to feel like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, that's possible. It is not just a disembodied spirit from on high sharing some kind of out there theory. It's a real thing that works, you say. We want you to feel like this is yours, because it is, because you have created it in your reality. So the 10 truths that we talked about on Saturday, the first 2 are really a review of the absolutes. And when we say the absolutes, we are saying the things in your about you that do not change, that you cannot even change, that really you wouldn't want to change, even if you could. But these are the things that you are not at choice about, if you will. They're just a given. The first is, I am an always connected extension of Source. So, you have created here this fun, temporary, physical playground on which to have a creative experience, a life experience, to stretch the limits of what you can do, but you are always connected to all that is. There is nothing that separates you from that larger part of you. There's nothing that separates you from us. There's nothing that separates you from all that is. We are creators. It's what we do. And you have created, number 2, it's your beliefs and choices that create your worlds. So you have, in that individuation that is you have created this fun world. And in fact, we would tell you that you are creating infinite versions of this world, infinite versions of you that have made an infinite number of choices that have led you onto all sorts of adventures, you see, and not just in this physical plane that you call planet Earth, on so many other levels, on so many other planets, in non-physical, in physical. It's what you do, and you are so powerful and expansive that you go on and on and on, you see. It's why we use words like infinity, even though it doesn't even quite, for us, that word doesn't even capture how big you are and how extensive you are. And it doesn't even cover all of the experiences that you are having simultaneously. But we are here in this version of your reality. We are creating our version of it. You are creating your version of it. We are intersecting here to assist you in recognizing that you are the one. You are the one who is choosing. You are the one who is making belief choices about how your world is, you say. Number 3, everything is what I choose it to be. So everything is what we choose it to be in our version of reality, and everything is what you choose it to be in your version of reality. In other words, no one is creating in each other's realities. We are not asserting into your reality. You are not asserting into us. We are simply vibrationally matching up here to have a good time together, you see. And aren't we? Number 4, it's my thoughts that create. My actions are just the sideshow. So humans, through their experience, have gotten the idea that doing is everything, that I must do this and I must do that and I should do this and I have to do that in order to make things happen. And do you hear all the pushing in have to, should do, must do, make things happen? The only way that your physical actions make anything happen is if you believe that they will. And you generally do. You see, you generally believe that if I work a job, then I will get a paycheck, then I can pay my bills. You say, you have formed certain opinions and have made certain choices throughout your virtual reality here that have defined your world, you see. But you can, by recognizing that it is your thoughts that create, it is your vibration that attracts, it is the result of your choices and expectations that things have come about in your world as they have. When you understand that, then the actions that result from a place of knowing what you're doing, feeling confident in what you're doing, making choices that feel good to you, and knowing that they must be because you are a powerful creator, and shoring up your beliefs leads you forth into action that feels fantastic. But as we said, that is not the main show. The main show is the creative part. The main show is looking around and saying, I love that. Not so much of that. I think I want more of that. And it is through that deliberate turning of your attention in the direction of what you're wanting that leads you down, as we have called it, that yellow brick road, toward a life experience that feels wonderful, toward action that feels free and easy and light and fun as you knew it would be. So 5, every time I choose a different thought, it makes a difference. Every time you decide, I want something different. I want to expand that. I want to step onto a different path. It makes a difference. And what we are here on about, and what the whole 4 weeks will be about, is helping you to develop those habits that will support your confidence within, that the way you feel and the way you think and the way you choose to direct your choices and your thoughts and your beliefs and your expectations makes a difference. And you will see it and you will feel it. You'll feel it first. You'll feel at peace. You'll start to feel invincible, because you are invincible. You are invincible. You're infinite beings having an experience in a virtual reality that you created, that you are the orchestrator of, that you are the leading lady or the leading man in, you see. You are the director and the main actor or actress, you say. You are doing it all. So we anticipate and we know that you will feel more and more and more confident as you get into these truths and as you play for those 4 weeks with us. And we encourage you, as Robin did, get on as many of these calls as you can. The more you do this, the more it becomes habit, and the more you become acclimated to the truth of who you are. And the truth of who you are is you're an amazing being. The truth of who you are is you get it the way you want it to be. The truth of who you are is you are pure love and pure joy, and you are an infinite being having infinite experiences, and you're in every single one of them for the purpose of feeling more joy, for the purpose of creating. You see, that's why you're in it. That's why you're here. You didn't come here to struggle. Here we are in our soapbox again. You didn't come here to struggle. You came here for fun. You came here for fun. And anything that feels less than fun, well, pick one of those things. And together in those 4 weeks, we will turn that around with you. We will assist you. You will turn it around. But we will assist you in every way we can to get you on that yellow brick road to what you want, to where you want to be, to how you want it to be, to who you want to be. Nothing is set in stone, you see. Everything is clay, and it's changeable. You are the artist. You decide, you see. So, number 6, what I choose has nothing to do with what anybody else chooses. So, what they are choosing out there, seemingly out there in your world, is not influencing or does not have the power to influence you and your choices unless you allow that to be. In other words, you get to choose it the way you want it to be. And those beings who have matched up with your expectations are also choosing, you see. You are not handing them a word-by-word exact script, but they are falling in the general beliefs that you hold about certain subjects and even about certain people. So, but the two, you and they, do not really have the power to make the other do this or do that. They simply, and you simply, in their world, fall within their tapestry of expectations, your tapestry of expectations. And what you feel and how you choose to direct your thoughts has an impact on everything that's happening around you. On everything that's happening around you. But they are simply a mirror, you say. They are simply a mirror showing you, this is what you believe about me. This is what you believe about this subject. This is what you believe about this country. This is what you believe about art. This is what you believe about global warming. This is what you believe about technology. All of it is just a mirror, you say. Just a mirror. And if you want to change the mirror, you change you. The mirror reflects you. As we have talked about on previous calls, our friends Bashar have said, if you want to change what's in the mirror, you don't go over to the mirror and try to make it change. That would be silly. You change you change how you feel, you change how you direct your thoughts, you change how you believe and what you expect. And all of that out there changes to reflect that. 7, when I'm feeling good, I'm heading toward what I want. And 8, when I'm feeling bad, I'm heading away from what I want. Really, they are just one the flip side of the other. So that always reliable, always loyal emotional guidance system is telling you at any moment which way you're heading. If you're feeling good, if you're feeling light, if you're feeling easy, if you're feeling turned on, if you're feeling excited, if you're feeling passion, if you're feeling joy, if you're feeling eager anticipation, then you are lining up with the larger part of you, and you are heading straight toward that which you are wanting. You're lined up on all levels with what you want. And the reverse is true. When you are feeling bad, when you are feeling pinched off, when you are feeling small, when you are feeling constricted, when you are feeling controlled, when you are feeling angry, all of those things that don't feel good are a signal to you that you are not lined up with what your heart desires, that you are focusing on the lack of what you desire in your experience. You are looking out there at your physical world for answers to change somehow so I feel better. And we say, that's a losing battle. When you feel better, all that changes, you say. All that changes. And when you remember who you are, we're going to get back to that phrase we love so much, that ever-present ongoing awareness of who you are. When you are aware of who you are, you can do anything. You can manifest anything, but what you really want to manifest more than anything else in the world is alignment. Is feeling good, is playing with new ideas, is imagining them into existence, you say. That's what creators do. They imagine things into existence. They line up at all levels, and they move forward with confidence, knowing that they are worthy beings, that they can have what they want, that they deserve whatever it is that they're wanting. And last but not least, I have not missed the boat. The next one is always about to leave. In other words, don't worry that I have to get this right now. I have to take this opportunity or I've lost it. Or what if I don't make the right decision right now and it impacts my entire life for the rest of my life? And we say, that's only possible if you believe it is. Do you see where we're going? That is only possible if you believe that that's possible. But you're a creator, and creators never stop, and creators want to expand, and creators want to explore, and creators love to create. And they rarely stand still. And they are always moving on to more and more and more. And there is no right way or wrong way. No right decision and wrong decision. There's only the decision that feels good and the decision that doesn't feel so good. And all sorts of gradations of that in between. So you are always at choice to pick the choice that feels good to you right now. And don't worry about missing a boat, because there are countless boats lining up, waiting for you, ready when you are, you say. So we feel that we have delved into a few of those in greater details than others, but that's okay. We know that you will have the opportunity, as we finish up and as Mary Beth takes you through some processes, to ask questions and to get further into the ones that really pique your interest or you really want to get into in more detail. But we encourage you to read that email that had these 10 truths. Cut out the 10 truths, shrink them down, put them somewhere where you can see them, highlight the ones that really make your heart sing, and say them to yourselves over and over. Feel the alignment and the joy and the knowing of them as you say them, and do it often, and feel and see, witness how your world shifts to accommodate those truths that you know. Good, Robin. We are going to hand over to you to hand over to Mary Beth at this time.
Good. Okay. So let me just give you a bit of my experience today, because I was having a yuck moment today, and I was having a sufficiently yuck moment today that I didn't feel like unyucking the moment. And I thought, no, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to pivot out of here. And it was interesting to me that I picked that truth that every time you make a change, it makes a difference, came to mind. And as I did that, I got a sense of anticipation of the change. I got a sense of being aware that it was going to change and being ready to notice that it was changing. And it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference just to do that. And so I just thought I'd bring up why we're talking about these truths, because if you can get these locked in, they are really powerful.
Indeed. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so Terah through Mary Beth.
And good for you, Robin, for taking yourself by the scruff of the neck and saying, no, I'm going to turn this around.
Indeed.
It's such a habit that our physical friends have to stay in the muck and mire, is it not? And it's so easy to do. And so we commend you for saying, no, I'm going to do something. And every time you make a decision like that, it's a very big deal. Before we start the processes here, we just want to say how much fun it is for us to have our 3 channels on the same call live with you here with video. It is something we have been encouraging them, especially through Robin, to do for a long time. And so we are absolutely thrilled to be coming through Rachel and Mary Beth and Robin, of course. And so we hope you are having fun with us as well. And so we have 3 processes we'd like to go over with you here. We're going to start with the letting go process. This one had decided she wanted to start with a different one first, but we have been whispering in her ear here that we'd like her to start with the letting go process. And so here we go. And of course, most of you have done this before. We encourage you to do it again with us if you wish. And also for folks who will be possibly listening to this call or watching this video in the future. So, welcome in something, anything, large or small, perhaps something that has been bugging you, so to speak, for a long, long time, years and years and years, or perhaps something that has just been bothering you over the last day or two. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that is there keeping you from feeling really, really good, you are allowing it, of course, you are doing it. Welcome it in. Remember that so often it's so easy to stuff it in, to stuff it down, to say, oh, I'll deal with it later. And sometimes that works quite well for you. Other times it does not work so well. So whatever it is, something that is not feeling that good, that's keeping you from that sense of joy, that sense of absolute well-being. So right now, welcome it in and feel it. We're not going to leave you there in the uncomfortable, pinched off feeling, but just welcome it in. Welcome it in lovingly. Maybe say to it Thank you for helping me out in whatever way over the years or days, whatever. But now I want to do something different here. I want to make a change. So you're lovingly welcoming it in. And then allow yourself to feel it with as much strength as you possibly can. Just let it sort of well up inside of you. Let it well up, come to the surface as much as possible. Let it come to the surface as much as possible. And then just let it sit there for a moment. And you're going to step back. And as we mentioned through Rachel several times, remember who you are. Who are you? You are Source, God, all that is. You are unlimited. You are that unlimited consciousness. And there's nothing you cannot do, be, or have. There is nothing you cannot change. You just have to decide you want to, and then you have to decide to change it. So now go back and pick this up again. Pick up this pinched off feeling. And as you are sort of holding it in your consciousness hand, so to speak, allow the belief behind it to bubble up as well. No digging needed, just allow it to bubble up to the surface. You know what it is. It's not so hard to find. You don't have to spend, again, years and years trying to find it. You just have to decide that you want to allow it to come up so that you can let it go and put in some new beliefs, you see. You just have to decide that you want to do that, to choose to do it. So let that belief come up, the belief that is behind those thoughts that don't feel so good. So now you're going to step 3, let it all go. So you welcome it in, you remember who you are, and now you're going to let it go. You're going to breathe in and breathe out and just let it go. And as always, you may have an image that helps you release it. Bubbles popping, smoke to a fan, wind blowing it away, birds carrying it off somewhere, whatever it is that feels good to you. It could be something even comical. Whatever it is, you are letting it go. Let it go. Just relax. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Just the breathing in and the breathing out alone is a good process for letting go. So now you've let it go a bit. You can run around through those first parts again. Step 1, you welcome it in. You welcome in what isn't feeling good. Then you remember who you are. And then you let it go. And of course, we have added that bit of not just welcoming in what isn't feeling good, but you're also welcoming in the belief behind the feel good, the not feel good thought. But we consider that to be all one part of step 1. So you welcome it in, you remember who you are, you let it go. And now you give yourself credit. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a virtual or a real physical hug, whatever feels good to you. Why do we have you do that? Because so often it's so easy for you, as we said at the start here, for you to stuff it down. And we want you to acknowledge yourself, because every time you acknowledge that you've welcomed it in instead of hiding from it, running from it, every time you've welcomed it in, you see, you are putting more and more of that in your subconscious. You're putting more of that practice in your subconscious. You see, that practice of welcoming it in and letting it go. And it becomes a new habit, you see. So you give yourself credit, celebrate a little bit, have a cup of tea, dance around, whatever feels good. So now you're going to step through the doorway, our wonderful doorway that we speak of, and your doorway is unique to you. Whatever it looks like to you in your mind's eye, step through it now. And what is in this place? What is through this doorway? Nothing that's pinched off lives here. This is a place of beauty, perhaps, of light, of joy, of happiness, of fun. This is a place where your imagination just runs wild, you see. Anything goes. Whatever your heart's desire is, lives through this doorway. So just find yourself here now, in this place. Fly around, jump around, walk around, whatever feels good to you. Play in this place. And just let things come to you in this place that feel really, really good. And this is where we want you to spend so much more of your time. In this place of imagination, in this place of the all-powerful you see. In this place where you are allowing yourself to be in joy and in fun. Good. So now when you're ready, you can come back to your chair you're sitting in, or wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and we're going to take you through the next process. And perhaps we'll do this one a little more quickly. So the next process would be, will be, is. Each chosen belief comes with its own life support system. You have put that system in place. So if for you that chosen belief is a fun way to play the game in your physical experience, we always say, play on. But if it's not feeling so good to you, we say perhaps it is time for you to make a change. Change those habits of thought that don't serve you. As always, the question is, what do you want now? What is it that you really desire? Don't tell yourself it's too far out, that you can't have it because of this, this, and this. Think about something now that you really desire. What is it that you want? Pick one perhaps that you've maybe given up on, that you've tucked away. And so let's go on our journey here of would be to will be to is. Once again, get quiet. Close your eyes and let's play make-believe. Let's imagine. Imagine your world if that one thing, that one desire could really be. At this point, you don't have to challenge whether it's possible or not. Just think about what it would be like if. Get immersed for a while here in that imagined world. Feel it. Allow yourself to feel the joy of it without having to know how it could possibly be. Again, you might want to see yourself stepping through that doorway in that place where all things are possible, where you are imagining. See it in your mind. Now, we want you to allow the idea that maybe this particular thing really could be possible without getting into how. Remember, how is not your job. Just let yourself shift into will be mode. Imagine the world when that thing will be. It's really the same as the world of would be, but now there's starting to be a sense
of positive expectation and anticipation to it. It's starting to become magically possible. So feel it for a moment. Feel the excitement of will be. It's coming, you see? It's on its way. Now, we want you to really step through the door in your mind and slip into that world fully. Be in it now. Feel what it's like to be there. It is. Right now, it is. Be in the beingness of it. Be in the beingness of you. So, often ask yourself, what do I want now? And then go on the journey from would be to will be to is. And each time you do that, every time you do that, you loosen your grip on the same old script that it's not possible. Oh, I can't have that because you've practiced that old story, that old script long enough. It's time to practice your new story because anything is possible when you choose to believe it is. It's time to get into alignment at all levels within you. How do we know you can do that? Because that's what you did to practice into existence the old story that's not serving you anymore. Practice your new story. Be in excitement. Be in anticipation, eager anticipation. And if you find yourself dropping down into where's my stuff, it's just not happening. What am I going to do? Be aware that you're doing that. Own it and make a new choice. Don't chastise yourself. You just need a bit more practice. That's all there is to it. Don't pick on yourself. Stay away of being frustrated with yourself. It doesn't mean you can't get there. It simply means there's a little more practice required with the new story. Allow yourself to believe in yourself. Allow yourself to know who you are. As you go more and more on the imagined journey from would be to will be to is, you step into that version of so-called reality. By practicing that wholly imagined world within, you create a matching physical world outside. So Robin, would you like us to go into About Face, or would you like to open up the floor for questions or comments given the time here? Can't hear you, Robin.
Muted myself again. Okay. No, we don't have any questions yet, at this point, so go into About Face.
All right, About Face. So let's revisit this process. Most of you have heard it and done it a few times perhaps, but we are going to do it one more time with you here. And once again, feel free to go through it right now. Remember, you are reminding yourself of the truth of who you are, what's real and what's not, and how you can change what you think is possible for you and what's impossible. So step one, for a moment, keep your eyes open and look straight ahead and notice what you see. Notice what your virtual reality looks like. Look around the room, look at the lamps, the floor, the computer, your artwork, whatever it is that you see. Look around the room, your pets. Maybe you look outside the window and you see a tree. Just look at it all now. Take it all in. And remember, you created all of that. So now step two, close your eyes. And keep them closed a bit here if you can. If you're not driving a car or walking your dog, close your eyes. Now see those same things ahead of you in your mind's eye, in your imagination. the lamps, the tree outside, the rug, whatever it is that you saw. See them again in your mind's eye. Now, here's the big question. Now that your eyes are closed, is that world still out there? And here's your hint. You're creating that virtual reality second by second. The truth of it is, you're not creating it in a visual sense right now. You have your eyes closed and you have an imagined picture of it. So notice that it's different. You could describe it if we asked you to, but it's a different version of reality than that visual version. It may, in your mind's eye, look smaller or have different colors, you see. It may not be exactly the same because it isn't. So, that virtual reality outside of you actually does not exist as you have your eyes closed. So just take a second and acknowledge that. So step 3, keeping your eyes closed now, you're going to do a mental about face and look back at your connection to source. This one likes to think of it as look up to her connection to source or look inward to her connection to source, but whatever feels good to you. So look back at your connection to source, since we're calling it about face. It extends back from the conscious thinking you through the subs or superconscious you, back through your higher self, back through us, right back to all that is. Now let yourself feel that connection. Let yourself feel that connectedness. You are experiencing yourself as source, all that is. You might use the word love to describe how it feels. It is love of you and love of everything by you. Now, again, we ask you the same question. Is that connection real? Take a moment and think about that. And here's our hint. As always, you're an ever-connected extension of the collective consciousness of all that is. At the end of that connection is your source. Or we might say at the center of that connection is your source. However it feels good for you to picture it. And you are integral with it. So yes, it is absolutely and literally real. Just take a little bit more time here and acknowledge that. This connection is very, very real. Experience that connection as real because it's as eternally a part of you as anything ever could be. Without it, you would not exist. Your physical world is a virtual reality and a moment-by-moment creation, but your connection to Source is a timeless, eternal, absolute fact. Now, step 4, still keeping your eyes closed, do another about face towards that imagined virtual reality you think of as your world. In a minute, you're going to open your eyes. What version of your world are you going to see? What version would you like to see? Does it seem like you have a choice? And if yes, make a choice right now. Make a choice about what you're going to see when you open your eyes. Here's a hint about this. You are seeing through eyes refreshed with that connection to Source. But if it doesn't feel like you can make a choice about what you see, and that old picture seems persistent and inevitable, then you can leave it be for now. But just remember, it's just a habit. It's what you've been practicing over and over and over. You are not disempowered. You're just choosing to slip back into that old habit. That habit that says you can't choose to see a new way. Now, step 5, and this really is a step, we invite you, when you're ready, to step back into that visual version of your virtual reality by opening your eyes. Think about that, what that version is. As you open your eyes, think about the fact that you're going back into second-by-second creation mode. Each of these moments is like the frames in a movie. Now, 2 questions. Are you starting to get more of a feel for the truth about who you are and what's really going on here? And can you see that each time you take a time out from this game called life on earth in an exercise like this, it really makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. Every little step you take, every time, as Robin was saying earlier, that you choose to not settle for those old habits of thought, that you choose to be aware, that you choose something that feels a little bit better and a little bit better, that you choose to release something that isn't feeling good and put something new in place. Every time you do that, it makes a big difference. And bit by bit, as you make these choices over and over and over again and put in these new habits of thinking, you're going to find yourself going places and wondering, how did I get so happy right now? Why am I feeling so good? Or waking up in the morning instead of feeling that old dread that you might have been carrying around for so long. You're going to be feeling lighter, more refreshed, better and better, happier and happier. You're going to get to that tipping point where you've tipped over into that sense of well-being more and more and more of the time. So we recommend that you do these processes and make them your own, or do any processes that work for you, any of our other ones or any other ones that you find that help you step into that place of realizing the power of who you are as an absolute conscious creator and the beauty of who you are, and help you realize that connection to source, that you are indeed source, all that is. So Robin, we are going to hand the floor over to you now and open up the floor for any questions or comments. Perhaps you can ask one yourself, or maybe Kathy has one. So over to you.
So we have no questions in the chat. I would just, I would say that this exercise we're embarking upon is really, it's where the rubber meets the road, shall we say. It's the place that we take all of this stuff about knowing who we are and knowing the way the law of attraction works, and we put it into something that makes sense, into a framework that makes sense, and start practicing it, because it's all about changing habits, isn't it? It's all about picking up these new ways of thinking and thereby moving into something quite different. So I don't have a question, and I don't have any more to add to this at this point. I'll just remind you that we're kicking off our 4 weeks on the 1st of November on our Tuesday call, which will be on this night of the week. And we're going to run for 4 weeks. That gives you a bit of an opportunity to think about one thing that you'd like to change, start to play with some of these processes, and begin to understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And then we'll get into it. And let's see if we can make a shift for you, help you with a shift in the way that you are creating your world, stepping into something new, stepping into something quite different. Good. Any other comments, folks? Okay, so we've enjoyed this little exercise, our first live video session. We'll be back here again on Thursday, probably with a regular conference call. But we're going to be moving into these video calls more and more. And as we get them down and as we get this process down, so we'll be building a library, if you like, of these videos in the same way that we've been building a library of our audios. And our intent is that they're just going to be the resources that you can fall back on, you can come to. You can get your questions answered from the videos, or you can come on these calls and get them answered in person. So I would say on behalf of Terah and Mary Beth and Rachel and Kathy that we've enjoyed ourselves immensely here. And for now, we are complete. So we'll catch up with you soon. So thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye for now.